Hi, my name's Lynda Gaiao. If you've ever been involved in a team where you had a project or a goal to achieve as part of that team, yet you didn't have the resources that were required in order to complete that project or to reach that goal, I'm sure you've experienced the level of frustration that brings, where you just almost feel as if your hands are tied and it's not possible to bring this creative energy to achieving or producing the end result that could have been produced if the correct resources had been made available. In addition, I'm sure we've all experienced what it feels like when someone really holds onto the resources. They kind of get this really penny pinching attitude where the resources are there and there's a possibility for them to be available, but they just don't get released. Now that can be frustrating as well. Then there's another scenario where, the resources are released at a massive pace and they're kind of flung at one project after another. But the end result is, the direction wasn't in place, and so there was a huge amount of wastage of resources that no one really had a good vision for where they were meant to be going, and so it got wasted. When we look at the business and career designs, there are many factors that come into play, but today we're specifically looking at trait 14, which is called power skills. And this is essentially the fuel or the energy to empower a creative direction going forward. It's about having the necessary resources available and, in addition, being able to distribute those resources in a way that is good and beneficial for all of the people involved. It's not penny pinching. It's not throwing the resources at everything, hoping that something will stick. And what the 14th trait brings is this ability to not only generate resources, to have resources available, but to be able to distribute them in the correct way. When we look at energy within design, the energy resource is this powerhouse of energy, and the 14th trait sits within this powerhouse. So it's no surprise that it brings this power energy, this fuel to move things forward in a new or creative direction. When you're running a team or you have a business environment and no one in your team has the 14th trait represented in any of their charts, you're going to have a massive gap here. It's going to ultimately cause ongoing issues and problems for your business, because if nobody can bring the resources and no one can distribute the resources, this is going to be a constant battle you're going to be facing in terms of trying to understand where to get the resources, how to get the resources, and then what to do with those resources when they show up. In order to run a really successful business and to grow it going into the future, there are some key skill sets that need to be represented, and this is one of them. The 14th trait of power skills brings these resources. An interesting observation is that those with the 14 in their design, if you ask them questions about their lives, they will tell you that no matter what they've gone through in the journey of life, somehow, from somewhere, the resources always seem to show up. When it's used personally for ourselves, we may not have consistent access to the resources and we may not know how to generate them or keep them coming into our lives. But if you have this trait, more than likely, when the crunch time came in, the resources would suddenly show up. On the other side of the 14, we have the 2, which is the driver, and this is essentially, if you think about a car analogy, the person that's there to drive, it's just their job to drive. they put their foot on the pedal, on the gas, and off they go. Now, if there's no gas in the tank, they're basically going to be just sitting in the car, holding onto the steering wheel, staring out, but not really going anywhere. So the driver, which is ultimately about the direction that we're moving in, needs the fuel in order to be able to move forward. And vice versa, if we have the fuel, but we don't have the driver guiding us on the direction, we are going to end up wasting or not distributing these resources in the most effective way. When we have a trait that's linked to the energy resource, we want to pay particular attention to the quality of our energy. When you think about builders in the design system, they have an energy supply which becomes available to them every day. Yet we can either have a regenerative or degenerative effect. And if you're not doing what you love and loving what you do, if you're not operating correctly, if you're not following your decision-making strategy, then ultimately what's going to happen is the quality of your energy is going to be ultimately affected. And if you have a substandard level of energy, or the quality is not as great as it could be, and you have this trait 14 about resources, once again, the quality of the resources and how they show up is also going to be impacted. When you can be doing what you love and loving what you do as a builder, the energy you produce is going to be amazing. And that energy is going to feed into this 14th trait, empowering it to connect with resources and to allow resources to flow freely into whatever team, business, or organization you're involved in. You want to pay particular attention to not turn this inward and think that the resources are only for yourself, and kind of get a bit stingy or selfish and think, well, I can just use this for myself. Because as soon as you do that, what you're going to find is things will stop flowing. Because one of the elements of this particular trait is that you're here to distribute, to make available and then distribute the resources for the common good or the common benefit of all involved. And what you'll notice is when you apply it in this way, the amount of wealth that can flow into your life can be quite substantial, because it's kind of this coming in and then letting it go, to allow everyone around you to have this creative energy, to have this power energy, to forge new directions and to find new pathways forward for the company. What I would encourage you to do over the coming week is to start paying attention to the quality of your energy. Have you said yes to a lot of things that are not correct and are not healthy for you? Is your energy feeling as if it's in a degeneration phase? And if so, what can you implement in your life today that is going to help to bring your energy into alignment and into this regenerative kind of feeling where it feels luscious and free-flowing? The other thing I would pay attention to is what resources are showing up in your environment. If you don't usually have this trait and you're not a builder, this might be a great time to capitalize on the potential for resources to show up in your environment, and then being really particular about how can these resources be used for the common good? How can I distribute these in a healthy and productive way, not only for myself, but for everyone around me? If you notice any kind of penny pinching or, just throwing resources out there and having a huge amount of wastage, you may want to capitalize on having the 14th trait active over the next week to align things and to maybe even connect with somebody who has the traits on the other side, the driver, and not only bring the resources but move them forward in the correct direction for yourself and for the company, the team, or the benefit of all involved. I trust that you have enjoyed this video, and I am always interested to find out how these energy dynamics play out in your life, in your career, and in your business. So if you have anything to share about how you see this showing up for you in your own journey into design, please pop in the comments below, and don't forget to click subscribe because each week I'm going to be delivering the trait for that week, so that you can start focusing on seeing how these energy dynamics show up for you, and how you can watch and then start aligning to what is correct and most healthy for you through your decision-making strategy. I hope you have a good week ahead, and I look forward to chatting to you again soon. Bye for now.